I was discussing this in the recent batch. When Swami Vivekananda came back from Chicago after addressing the Parliament of Religions, and he was asked by the youth of Calcutta, tell us something we can do by which we can walk on the path of spirituality. Swami Vivekananda answered, go and play football. And they said, what? No, spirituality. He said, go and play football. When you play games, the entire energy that you have changes. You forget about the past, you forget about the future, you completely come into the present. And when you are in the present, that state of mind is the only state of mind which will help you to experience spirituality. Just write down a very simple, small equation. Quality of advice multiplied by commitment equals to impact. Quality of advice multiplied by commitment equals to impact. Let's say the equation together. Quality of advice multiplied by commitment equals to. Let's say I tell my younger daughter, you should sleep a little earlier so that you can get up a little earlier, so that you can meditate. Early in the morning you can be fresh, you can meet everyone before everybody heads out. Now, as far as quality of advice is concerned, how much would you like to give as marks to this? 0 to 10, 10 being the highest? 10 on 10. Now, let's say she is not committed to this advice because all her friends come online only around 10:30, 11. And she chats on multiple videos at the same time, multiple windows. 10:30 in the night is when her best comes, where she is involved in 5 different things. And therefore, her commitment to this, she understands the quality of the advice. Both badi advice. Ek number advice. My father is very wise. But the commitment to that advice, let's say, is 2 out of 10. One day I will do. Someday I will do. I don't have to start today. So the impact is how much? If you're sleeping around 12, can you sleep just 15 minutes early and can you wake up just 15 minutes early? It will give me a chance to see you fresh for about 5 minutes in the morning. And for 10 minutes, let's sit and do some meditation together. Now, sleeping at 10 would be brilliant. 10 out of 10 quality of advice. Sleeping 15 minutes earlier is not going to shift the needle too much. So let's say the value of quality of advice over here is 6. What do you think her commitment will be to this advice? 8, 9, 10 is what you're saying. So let me assume it is 10. Impact? Technically, this is better, the first one. Practically, it is the second one, which is 3 times more effective. As we love someone, we want them to grow and develop phenomenally. Our whole focus shifts to the quality of my advice should be 10 out of 10. If you love someone and you want them to grow, shift your entire intelligence to what guidance or impact can I give? What is the suggestion that I can give indirectly or marginally where their commitment to that advice would be 10 out of 10? If not 10, 8 out of 10. You will find you will be creating extraordinary impact. Some of you must be using this phrase quite frequently. कितनी बार बोलने का? Any one of you here? You use that quite frequently? और वो बोल बोल के कोई असर हुआ? बिल्कुल नहीं ना? Why? Because the focus is on quality of advice and it's not on commitment. What to say so that they are committed to what I am saying is the game. It doesn't appeal to our ego, but it affects the relationship. It doesn't make me excited कि क्या मस्त बात बोला है, ये फीलिंग नहीं आता है, लेकिन रिजल्ट्स आता है. And because they assume that responsibility, they feel that they have done it. 6 months down the line, they won't even realize you mentioned it. So after 6 months, if you have a need to take credit, मैंने उस दिन तेरे को समझाया था ना, क्या समझाया? 10-15 मिनट में कभी भी कर सकता था, इसमें क्या है? तो क्या बड़ी बात हो, तो मैं ऐसे ही करता था. And you might feel let down. You might search for a box of band-aids because your heart just got broken. But when I love someone, and if they can get lifted in their own eyes and they can get impacted in their own life, what would be better than that? There are 4 kinds of people who come across different situations in life and let the different situations in life be termed over here as the poisoned tree. There is one category of a person, when they come in front of a poisoned tree, they get scared. और ये जहरीला पेड़ है, एक पत्ता भी उड़ के आया तो अपने को लग गया तो तकलीफ हो जाएगा. इसके फल कहीं गलती से खाना नहीं चाहिए. They get scared. And because of this fear, they move into something called self-pity, where their approach in life is find somebody or something to blame. Why are you upset? Bai has not come. Why are you upset? ये बाई कुछ ज्यादा मन लगा के काम नहीं कर रही, या तो कल कुछ पैसे लेगी, या तो इसका कुछ और चक्कर चल रहा है. Now either it is the children's laughter who have seen their mother, or it is the mother themselves who is laughing so that she can say, I am not this. This is one category of person, always scared, always afraid, and therefore blaming others. Second category, angry. Third category, compassion. They see that poisonous tree and they say, ये बेचारा क्या किस्मत है इसकी भी, इसको कभी कोई दोस्त ही नहीं मिलेगा, कोई नीचे बैठेगा भी नहीं. So these compassionate people create a fence around the poison tree so that it can also survive and others are also not harmed. These are fundamentally people who are peaceful, very satisfied, day-to-day living, gem of a people. And the fourth category are people who see value in everything. They come across this poisonous tree and they say, this is exactly what I needed in my life right now. They will do a little research, find out what is the ingredients in that tree, know there is some other ingredient existing out there, mix these 2 ingredients and create something brilliant. मतलब नीम है ना, वो क्या दवाई है और उससे कितने मर्ज दूर हो सकते हैं, उनका दिमाग उधर ही दौड़ता है. सांप का जहर है क्या? अरे इससे बहुत फायदा होता है, इसको ऐसे ऐसे करेंगे ना तो इससे ये बीमारियां दूर हो सकती. Their entire focus and approach of life is whatever happens is exactly what I needed. Now let me see how can I get value out of this and change my life around. Different ways in which we respond to the poisonous tree. First one is self-pity. Second is anger and arrogance. Third is compassion. And the fourth is, there are some people, the way they live their life, they add value wherever they go. They are these North Stars. One such person is this man called David Goggins. Now, who is David Goggins? Let me give you a little background. David Goggins was born in extreme poverty and he belonged to a broken family. His father left long time back and his mother had a series of boyfriends. He had one stable father for a little while and that father used to beat the hell out of him every now and then. Father had drug abuse. Mom was into alcohol, and David Goggins grew up blaming his mother and father for everything wrong that happened in his life. The truth is, because he was beaten up every now and then, he believed that what kind of a hell I am living in. By the time he became young, his weight became 297 pounds. Which is, let's say, somewhere around 135 plus kgs. He used to drink a lot, sometimes drugs, and he got a job. His job was of an exterminator. Now, what do you mean by exterminator? In these poor areas, wherever there are restaurants or food joints, in the night, when the restaurant is closed, when the kitchen is closed, since it's an area of squalor and filth, rats and cockroaches will enter into the kitchen searching for anything that they can lay their head on. And David Goggins' work was to find the rats and the cockroaches and kill them every night. That was his job. To cut a long story short, one day he decided to take charge of his life. He saw an advertisement for US Navy SEALs and said, I want to do this. There are 8 centers in US when you can apply to be a US Navy SEAL. And US Navy SEAL means the fittest people on this planet. Last year when Praveen Teotia had come and I had asked him, who is the fittest? He immediately said, India. Said, okay, who is closest? Where heart of hearts, you say they are incredible. And he said, US Navy SEALs. Mentally, physically, emotionally, the toughest people on this planet is US Navy SEALs. So if Osama has to be murdered, it is the US Navy SEALs who go to hunt him out. This guy, 135 plus kgs, decides to become a US Navy SEAL. In 7 centers, they laughed at him, mocked him, and said, "Are you out of my mind? 135, 140 kgs, get out." In one center, a kind-hearted guy told him, if you can drop about 40 kgs, and if you can come back in 3 months, I will take you in for the next series of tests. In 82 days, he dropped more than 40 kgs. Outside Magazine, which is the magazine people who love outdoors worship, which has a print of about 6,75,000 copies every month. has voted David Goggins as the fittest man alive on this planet. Once, he did pull-ups. In about 17 hours, he did about 4,030 pull-ups. Many of us over here may not be able to do one. 1.5, you will really walk the whole day like this. No, not because you're proud of yourself, because हाथ ही आगे नहीं आ रहा है. 4,030, 17 hours. Now, those of you who can do maths, find out, did he do one pull-up every 10 seconds? For 17 hours non-stop? And he created a Guinness Book of World Records. He's the only guy in the history of the world who's qualified for US Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, and the Air Control Marshal. Nobody else has ever been able to qualify there. Now look at the body he has, what he was and what he became. They are not two different people, there's no two different brothers, one and the same. David Goggins, exterminator, and David Goggins, the fittest man alive on this planet. Once he ran about 175 kilometers non-stop, just like that in 16 hours. He said, let me see how much can I do. He started jogging and in 16 hours ran about 175 kilometers. Some of you, if you see a dream where you are running 1 kilometer, no, you might start panting in the dream itself. In fact, some of you, as you heard about David Goggins, you might feel chest pain ho raha hai mere ko. What you will do is you will ask children in the classroom, why did David Goggins decide to change? What kind of a mindset makes somebody change? He had nothing going for in his life, nothing in his favor. No money, extremely poor, beaten up his entire childhood. Can you imagine a job where you have to just take the cockroaches and kill them? Take the rats and kill them? Can you think about the mind which is required to do that job? Can you imagine a life where you have to go out of the house because the mother has come with someone and you're told come back after 2 hours? Can you imagine a life where you look around and you see only poverty and abuse? And in that kind of a scenario, where there is nothing and nobody who gives you anything positive, how did David Goggins become who he is? And there was no turning point in his life as far as a human being is concerned. There was no godfather. There was no teacher. There was no kind of person who told him, you can. It's just that one day David Goggins said, it's my life. He says, we are too dependent on others. We depend too much on people to help. We depend too much on people to keep us happy. He says it's all about self-accountability. In his book, he says, it's all about assuming responsibility for your life. When he was asked, if you have to describe your life in 1 or 2 words, what would you say? He said, discipline. He said, show me a great person who is indisciplined. And show me a disciplined person who is a failure. He says, we depend too much on others. For the promotion, we will depend on somebody else. For good food, we will depend on somebody else. To get up in the morning, we will depend on somebody else. He says, start depending on yourself. He says, my life changed because I said, I have to depend on myself, and that's how I could move 40 kgs out from my body. If I had waited for my mother and father to change for my life to become better, I would have kept waiting. So his rule number one is discipline. And then he says brilliantly well, I have no talent. I have never been good in anything in my life. I am not special in any way. But I am driven. मेरे अंदर जुनून है. And he says that's what is required for anybody to live a good life. I'm not special. I have no qualifications. I have no assets. I have no people. I don't have education. I don't have any talent. But I am driven. He gives an advice to others. When you think you are about to give up because you have reached the edge of your capabilities, believe you have reached 40% of what you are capable of. He has this 40% rule in his life. He says, every time I feel like giving up, I remind myself, you have reached 40%. He says, you and me have no idea how much we are capable of. Each human being is capable of a miracle. But they give up too soon. And some don't reach even 40%. Before that, they give up. In the latest batch we were discussing, thanks to David Goggins, what you think is impossible is merely inconvenient. It's not impossible. It is just inconvenient. Because it's inconvenient, we hide behind the word called impossible. He says, nothing can stop, nothing can stand on your path if you are willing to do the uncomfortable. The problem is, in everything we want comfort. Nothing can stand in front of you. Nothing. If you are willing to do what is uncomfortable. David Goggins says, oh, all of us would love to drive on the express highway with 4-lane traffic. In our life, those express highways of 4-lane traffic has to be built. It doesn't come for free. It is not given. It is something that has to be built. Now this is David Goggins for you.